Hello and welcome to our series of 26 short videos focused on the world of wine. We've entitled the series The Alphabet of Wine, so for each short video we will take a relevant letter and talk about a specific subject. But before we commence, let me introduce myself. My name's Christian Jordan and I'm the owner of Lazy Lounge, which is a wine bar based in Leeds. And the gentleman here to my left is Peter Fawcett, who is the owner of Field & Fawcett's, which is a wine merchant based here in York. Should also add that Peter has got over 25 years experience working within the wine trade. Hi and welcome back. Today we're the letter L and we're talking about labels. Now I bet there's many of you out there been in the supermarket, particularly around French wine, and thought, how do I understand the label on a French wine? Well, hopefully we're going to demystify that a little bit over the next few minutes. And I'm going to turn to our master here, Peter, to really show a difference between old world wines, French wines, labels, understanding them better, but also what to look out for as well on new world wines.
Yep. Right. Well, what is the purpose of a label? It's essentially to communicate what is in the bottle.
Yes.
And part of the revolution of how we drink and what we drink is that the new world, so Southern Hemisphere producers, the Aussies, Kiwis and such like, are very good at communicating what's in the bottle in a very straightforward sort of way. In the old world or traditional European countries, you almost they're assuming really, but you know roughly what might be in the bottle, and you go from there. Some might say typical French arrogance. If you don't know, what's in Gevrey Chambertin, what the grape variety is, you shouldn't be bloody drinking it anyway.
Is it not steeped in history, this? Not
well,
just
exactly. Exactly. So I said some would view it as arrogance. It's history. It's the way it's always been done, and the way they've kind of defined how they describe their wine. So, prime example is in Burgundy, in France. So Gevrey Chambertin's a village. So that tells you where that wine is from.
Yes.
Another key element is who's made it. So in this case, Domaine Henri Reborceau. Mise en bouteille au domaine means that it's been bottled at the chateau.
Okay.
So at the place where it's been made, you have to put the alcohol content legally. You have to put the size of a bottle, legally. Right. The vintage, which is 2005. If it's not a vintage wine, in other words, if it's a blend from different years, then you're not allowed to put the name of the year on a bottle.
Right.
Put non-vintage, and then one of the key things actually, which has just come into EEC legislation in the last couple of years, is all labels have to say contain sulfites.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean that sulfites are added. You get free sulfur in the wine making process. It's out there on the grape skins because sulfur is a natural element. It helps protect the grapes out there on the vines from infection, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So it always occurs in wine, and actually the level of sulfites that they use is tiny. It's a fraction of what they'd use in dried apricots, for instance, in a packet or whatever. So it's a bit of a red herring when somebody says, "Oh, I've got a headache because it's got too many sulfites in it." Cobblers, you just drunk too much. So that's that. So what's the difference between that
and this one?
And this one?
Yeah.
Because pretty much you go along the shelf, they look pretty similar. So you got the village name, you got the producer's name, you got the where it's bottled, alcohol, size of a bottle,
all looking pretty much the same.
The
so
vintage,
the year's different.
But the key here is Fontenay Premier Cru. So this means that it's from a Premier Cru vineyard, so in basic terms, higher quality vineyard, producing higher quality grapes, and the name of that Premier Cru is Fontenay. But what's a key thing that these labels haven't told, say, you, a consumer?
They have not told me what the grape variety is.
Precisely, yeah. And so that's why we come to what we've been doing in the Southern Hemisphere. New World producers, they actually put the grape variety on it. So this is
a compare and contrast.
Yeah, it's a little bit of compare and contrast, and it helps explain why New World producers have been so successful at putting across the message of what's in the bottle. So you can go along the shelf and go, oh, I've had a New Zealand Pinot Noir. Oh, well, that's New Zealand Pinot Noir as well. I'll try that. Whereas a lot of people look at that and go, I haven't got a clue it's Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
And most people, quite frankly. So what they've done in New Zealand and most New World producing countries, the most important thing that they do, a lot of them, they put the grape variety on the label. And it's not on the back, it's on the front. So the key element of this wine, key element of this wine is Pinot Noir, grape variety. Felton Road are the producer. Again, it's saying at the bottom, a bit like the French, we've got Maison Bataillon Domaine. This is produced and bottled at Felton Road Vineyards. They've got the essential bottle size, the alcohol, they've got the vintage on it, and they've got the region, Central Otago. And they could, if they really wanted to, put South Island or whatever, but they don't need to put that information. Now, Bannockburn is the general region from where this Pinot Noir has been made, and they've only just started putting that on. Before, it's just Felton Road Pinot Noir.
That was it.
So they're getting slightly more specific.
Okay.
Take it to another level where they're kind of slightly mimicking, if you like, what they do in France with the basic Chevy Chambertin Village Wine, Premier Cru, and then onwards and upwards. What they've done in terms of their production at Felton Road is the Bannockburn is from the general region where they're growing all their vines and making Pinot Noir, but they have certain areas within Bannockburn where they feel that the quality is distinctly better. So you could say Premier Cru level. So in this case, they call that block. So they call a single area vineyard site a block.
Right.
So block 1, 2, 20, 30, whatever.
Yep.
So in this case, it's block 5, Pinot Noir, Felton Road. Exactly the same information on all of them, apart from the fact that it says block 5.
And again, indicating that this is their slightly higher graded wine from the basic.
Now, I would say, your general consumer wouldn't necessarily go, oh, block 5, it must be a better quality. But they'll look at it and think, oh, hold on a sec, this is 20 odd quid, this is 35 quid. And then they'll ask us, say, well, why is this one more expensive than that? And we can explain the process. But it's interesting that they've actually put that kind of information on here now, slightly mimicking what they're doing in France. Yeah, exactly.
Excellent, superb. Well, look, that was an absolute crash course in labels. But what I do hope
we could have gone to Germany, of course, and really confused everybody.
Absolutely, and we are just really at the tip of the iceberg here, aren't we, in terms of the detail. But I think that would certainly give you enough in terms of having confidence to come into a place like this or into our wine bar to be able to read a list and start to understand that a little bit more. And also when you're out in the supermarket and looking at a bottle of wine as well. So again, I hope you've learnt something there. Join us again for the letter M, and we're going to talk about Malbec.